Oh yeah, let me just move this way.
Yeah, it didn't take a while.
All right. Okay.
This is potential tank here.
Potential.
Let's get the two on the.
You know what? Let's just have to turn this on. Unplug it and unwrap.
There you go.
There we go. And then plug it back in.
That's better.
So,
Let's put this to the outside of that.
yeah.
Like that. I want to get
This
Tell them to leave the mic alone. With
all right, leave the mic alone.
Yeah, people always want to mow the mic. It's just like
Mug the mic.
leave it alone.
All right. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, he's going to give the the warm-ups. Then just so since this is we're back for the first time in 2019. So after he does the announcements, then I am going to do something special. He's going to juice it around.
I need the form.
Oh, sorry. And so these are the regular announcements. Then I'm going to do something special. And then Mr. Owen, who is the keynote, will follow my ridiculousness.
Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye! Ye hear. Welcome, Sacred Grounds with Dan Brady. As the current host of this, the longest running open mic in the known, unknown, and alternate universe, serving up good food and fine poetry since 1972. Please support this reading by reading and enjoying the food and drink served here. Let's have a big hand for Teddy and Fiona, our hosts. Poetry of all kinds, ladies and gents, is welcome, but we do ask you to respect the mic, keep the conversations to a whisper, put phones on, or vibrate, and do not distract the speakers or pass in front of them. Pass over them with your lovely wings. Also, keep to the time limit, usually 5 minutes, but that can change. Remember, we've two shows, the 7-ish, the 8:40-ish, and the pish-tush. For those reasons, I ask for generosity. I'll take money if you want. By going short on your time, it helps with our tradition of getting everyone on the mic like angels on the head of a pin. If you want to be in the loop, we've an opt-in mail list, a Facebook page, a YouTube channel, and we stream live, which is handy in 5 ways. Count them. 1, you can view from home. 2, family or friends can see you live or later on. 3, if you want to hear good old Sammy so-and-so's or Billy so-and-so's or Jacqueline so-and-so's poem again, why, you can. Want to do a self-critique? A show of hands? Okay, none? 1, if you really want to do a self-critique, fool, go right ahead. And 5, it is a way to put out the word, yours, mine, ours, minutes, seconds. Mind those words, mind your words. Remember the ongoing theme. Never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead, the evening's theme is.
The evening's theme is My Heart is Burnt Paper. I think you
Burnt
originated
paper, that was mine. I threw that one out. My heart is burnt paper. Also, next week's feature will be
Karen Melander Magoon.
Karen Melander Magoon, and I will be accompanying her on one piece, so no, I don't. You may not want to clap for that one, but anyhow, clap for Karen. Now, as the first show, the keynote will be Owen the Dunkle. Uncle Dunkle. While our feature is
Sally Love Saunders.
Sally Love Saunders. She's in the house. She will give the Queen's wave. As to the second show, the last word will be the
Mr. Richard
Sanderell. The mini feature is
Buford the Lord Bunton.
Buford. And we have fabulous door prizes.
This is an unworn hat, has never been worn. It's a completely unworn hat. It's a nice hat. And did I say it's never been worn?
Knobs.
Thank you. Poet Magazine. Plus, if you've never been to, wait a minute, what's the name of this town? Goldfield, Nevada. This is everything you would like to know about Goldfield, Nevada. My friend Bob lives there. They call it Goldfield because the Goldfields were once there, and they may be coming back with the price of gold. Mysteries of mankind, such as, why is Trump president? This is the Art of Awe 2, the power of your creative spirit. If you've never been to the Dancing Poetry Festival, this is all about that, plus the little bit published in that.
Nice stuff.
This is something that was given to me, and since I didn't really, it's like, okay, fine. Wreck this journal. Each page gives you instructions about how to wreck it. Inside that is one of these, a bumper sticker, Make America Green Again.
Well, that would go right along with My Heart is Burned paper.
Yes, it
What a
would.
match to it.
The best poems of 1942.
Oh, wow.
A calendar for
Behind it,
2019. And in case you want to know what Tommy Abacola Mecca says, sometimes
I
there's
wanna
your
know, I wanna know.
this is your standard Italian to standard English dictionary, just so you know. Now,
Be advised, although we record the evening, if an audience member wishes to do so, please ask permission. We'll assume you've done so should we notice recordings being made. That's it. Owen, keynote.
oh, wait a minute. I got you
Wait,
something.
no, wait. We have a special introductory offer here.
Yeah. So Owen's going to follow me with the keynote, but
Imagine my surprise when I saw this thing on someplace on the web, and I said, well, that can't be true. But I went and found one of Emily Dickinson's poems, and I tried it out, and by God, it is true. Do you remember that silly show, what was it, the ones that, the little boat that was lost at sea with the people who were stranded on the island?
Gilligans Island.
Quivering and chill, for only gossamer my gown might tippet, only tulle. We paused before a house that seemed a swelling of the ground. The roof was scarcely visible, the cornice in the ground. Since then 'tis centuries, and yet feels shorter than the day. I first surmised the horses' heads were towards eternity.
It works, doesn't it? Amazing. There's other ones, but I don't want to bore you with those. We're going to have Owen come up here and do the real keynote. Owen, come on up. And then we'll start the open as soon as things progress to the point of non-ridiculousnesses. Okay. Okay, there we go. You're
Thank you.
framed there, buddy.
As my keynote, I'll read two poems by Wallace Stevens. The first one is Dissolution of 10 o'clock. The houses are haunted by white nightgowns. None are green, or purple with green rings, or green with yellow rings, or yellow with blue rings. None of them are strange with socks of lace and beaded censures. People are not going to dream of baboons and periwinkles. Only here and there an old sailor, drunk and asleep in his boots, chases tigers in red weather. Domination of black. By night by the fire, the colors of the bushes and of the fallen leaves repeating themselves, turned in the room like the leaves themselves turning in the wind. Yes, but the color of the heavy hemlocks came striding, and I remembered the cry of the peacocks. The colors of their tails were like the leaves themselves turning in the wind, in the twilight wind that swept over the room. Just as they flew from the boughs of the hemlocks down to the ground, I heard them cry. The peacocks, was the cry against the twilight or against the leaves themselves turning in the wind, turning as the flames turned in the fire, turning as the tails of the peacocks turned with a loud fire, loud as the hemlocks, full of the peacocks, or was it a cry against the hemlocks? Out of the window, I saw how the planets gathered, like the leaves themselves turning in the wind. I saw how the night came striding like the color of the heavy hemlocks. I felt afraid, and I remembered the cry of the peacocks. Okay, thank you very much.
Owen Dunkel, he'll be back when he comes on back onto the open. And who's next?
Jane Red.
Jane Aredes. Give her a nice round. She's a wonderful poet.
Thank you. I have 2 poems. This first one is kind of in process. It's about climate change, and the original title was "And Still They Say No," but I just changed it to "Denial is a River in Egypt." A tsunami of fires burns up through backyards, and still so many say no. People who see the fires rage in towns of dry tinder, paradise lost, ashes to dust, and still so many say no. Rivers flow backwards, miraculous, what water has done, but not the floods they deny. No is what they say in the eye of the hurricane, the calm before the storm, a lull, like the stillness of the summer afternoon before the quake. Like the mouth of an angry river, their mouths foam, saying no. And this is a very old poem. There was a song in 1965, is what this is about. Tripping all the way home. I bought a white carnation this morning, smelled it all the way home. I put it in a red glass in a blue skylit room. Back on the gray sidewalk, a lady dressed in green, waiting for the bus. And we are waiting for a dawn, for a light, for we have nowhere to go, but up and up, puff and dissolve, and we can wait no longer. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. And this is a song by Jackie DeShannon, 1965. Thank you.
Brett. Peter.
Brett,
Brett.
could you, Neil, give this to Owen over there? He'll know what it is. He wrote a poem by someone else, so he needs to. He's going to give you the attribution sheet, Owen.
He's got them.
Yeah. There we go. All right, give this guy a round of applause. I didn't hear that. Great Peter.
Tonight's theme, my heart is burnt paper. Wow, that sounds like a deep mood, a long-standing healthy obsession, more than a permanent state of being. Must have something to do with love or finance, foreclosure or loss. The old farts would sit there sipping their martinis and say, "You'll get over it." Are you in the dumps? Yeah, I have been. But the next morning I walked through the long streets of the lonely town feeling something like gladness. Screw it, I still have opera and 42 cents in my left pocket. Might as well go on. Coraggio, coraggio, an unannounced response to the still functioning heart. Out of work, you'll get by. I may have only a few Trump poems left, but he riled me again this morning. Such gibberish, verbal extortion. Everybody agrees with me. He is a mad king, he is a war criminal, he is a nihilist, he is a dangerous embarrassment. Commander-in-Chief, come on, man. The other day he spoke of loneliness. Just me in the White House all alone, and the boys with machine guns on the lawn. That's a direct quote. He's put children in cages and foul camps. He's sponsored mass disease in Yemen. We're bombing 9 countries right now, in our name, in his name. He is a big shot gun runner. He's put thousands out of work. Many of them agree with me, they are patriots, they'll get by. He flunked his civics class. He never heard of the Bill of Rights. He never read Common Sense, obviously. I'd say he probably cheats on his golf score. Another folk hero, Rashida Tlaib, called him a, she needs not apologize. More than a few of us are blowing blue smoke. Just as yesterday I heard Barney Google say, "Great balls of fire, time is a-wasting. Time to curb the man in the long red tie. Avanti, a popolo, alla Rascosa." And if I've got time, I got one more. Coddling the president. All presidents live in a bubble. Many have recounted stories of the adjustment period, getting used to a fleet of cars, the big house, the big airplane, the whirlybird taxi, and starving and killing people. All part of the gig. This president has taken to laying out barbed wire within his bubble and having boys with machine guns on the front lawn. Not even a paper airplane can get by their eyes. All presidents live in a bubble. Perhaps the application of a hat pin or a set of pliers. Oops, AJ, I have sinned. Or horror of all horrors, massive nonviolent direct action could extricate him from his current position of power. And look at his little gang of helpers. They think this kind of silence is good politics. The vote, castor oil, and truth have yet to work against any of them.
Big Peter.
Bob Gordon.
Bob?
Read.
All right, I'm going to read 4 poems. The first of which is an introduction to the poems by the poet introducing himself. The last 3 definitely fit the mood of My Heart is a Burnt Paper. It's called, the whole thing is called Hiroshima Awat Brak Matif, or Inundated Market. And, turning the page, of course, is always the hardest. Okay. Awaken the sleeping monster. Sound of the rain on leaves, sound of the wind-blown leaves, sound of raindrops breaking all the same. Now that I'm awakened, mother of East goddess, father of East king, how it will be to part my lips with tongue, eyes of my family cold black as glass, to devour all whole like pure smoke of hookah. Here I sit and become rockstone. Now I have been awakened, dreaming of the hidden moon, light in the atmosphere, another atmosphere, rising flight without wings. Oh, approach the end of eternity. Oh, feel the night rain. Hero. Passing for lives. That each one passes is a life. That each reads a cell phone is too. That each never sees 2 feet ahead is truth. That their electronic heads are mere computers. That each is no other must be insisted upon. That each is worth dollars is obvious. That each spends $1 is their must. That they of themselves must make more dollars. That they spend and make and spend and make. That they hear only popular songs on radios. That they do until 30 when they meet despairing. That they never will see age continue to say hello. Well past daily, nightly, midnight. Oh, that they are pretty. Oh, yet that are you a magazine? Oh, for the fruit of the earth and vegetables are shelved. Oh, for the health never been had to live now perfect. Oh, for the business of phoning business to everywhere. Oh, for the cruises to where they have fruits and garments. Oh, to where there are more cars there. Oh, to stay pretty, seek, oh cute, even in dogs. Oh, be gay, be straight, and love pretty distance. Oh, to seek stimulation and no connection anywhere. Oh, to do vacuums like crowds of dust balls forever gather to make poisonous cities and say, hello, oh, to everyone. This is anti-present generation. It's, you know, my heart is burnt paper. Oh, to be young and free like a microchip. Look into this careful and joy. Where is that we have been, want, or for need? Screen icons, sentence photos, lights, flippants. Be awesome is excellent. What's rad? Oh, hell of a dude bitch, or why?
Thank you, Bob.
Stephanie Manning.
The mighty Stephanie Manning. Yeah. Give her a nice round of applause, please. And after her, we have Hal, then Lee, then Yasmin, Donald Trump. No.
Don't put me with that.
Well, he said he wanted to be here, you know. It's like, I said, you got to be here now, Donald.
So here's one called Free, which I wrote while walking. I walk a lot.
Good.
It's called Free. Free, says the sign. The couch is free. Free for you to take. Folks put this couch out, and now it's free for the taking. A college girl lays on the couch, playing with her hair and jewelry. She is free, but not for you to take. She is free to go where her thinking takes her, but she is not free for you to take. Pass this couch and take it if you will, but the girl you must leave, for she is free to go where she will, and thinks what she will, and never ever think that you might take the couch with the girl on it, for she is free and not attached to the couch. She will remain free to follow her thinking, and even though you might believe that she is there for the taking, she remains free to be herself, and no one will ever own her, for she is free and forever will remain free. Truth evaders, word invaders, fear promoters, scared of voters, rich guys ennui, tapes do pee-pee, boss do crime, do your time, pawn of Putin, dawn of Luton, Putin's richer, Cohen's a snitcher, Putin's much, much, much richer. Trump's the ruler, save us Mueller, save us Mueller. Stop the wall and let in all, keep the kids alive and well, Democrats in the GOP hell. 2019 across the tightrope, no net, your bet, mind the schools for signs of hope. Will Earth sink or will it swim? Prospects are looking very dim. Ride the wave to revolution. Apes on board seek evolution. Climate's changing and we're defenseless, while scientists plan the 20 years hence list. New Horizons hailed successful. Found a Kuiper object in a vacuum stressful. Joy, oh boy, a big distraction from our sorrows, but no satisfaction. We don't drive less like we should do. We guzzle gas like they tell us to do. With sexy car commercials galore, but raising that dough makes life a bore. Down at dusk and up at dawn, daily grind, we work till worn, earn that dough and give it over, rent, food, gas till party's over. American dream more like nightmare, where horror repeats and rich folks stare, count their money and buy your time while earth corrodes. all on our dime. But waves are coming to your hilltop homes few. The air you breathe will poison you too. Storms are brewing and droughts are getting worse. It's getting time to call a hearse. For life on earth is on the decline, thanks to oil we burn and cars so fine. More cars and more cars, each to his own, and tidal waves make islands drown. The babies freeze when corrupt cookie crumbles, and substandard buildings begin to tumble. Shh. We climb a hill far from city lights, lay down and watch those streaks of light. We puzzle and hum about the meaning of life, make more babies and progenerate life. So quietly, we lay aside strife and wish the earth and its children and all a good night, not with a bang, but a whisper. And this line by Dorian Locks that Ann Leonard sent to me from Nashville.
And Leonard.
Yeah. What is a wound but a flower, dying on its descent to the earth? Bag of scent filled with war, forest, torches, some trouble that befell, now over and done. A wound is a fire, sinking into itself. The tinder serves only so long. The log holds on and still it gives up, collapses into its bed of ashes and sand. I burned my hand cooking over a low flame. That flame's now alive under my skin. The smell not unpleasant. The wound beautiful as a full-blown peony. Say goodbye to disaster. Shake hands with the unknown. What becomes of us once we've been torn apart and return to our future naked and small, sewn back together, scar by scar.
Thank you. I'm giving her the attribution sheet since she read something by somebody else. You're the mini feature of the evening, so you're already on.
I'm in.
Yeah, you're in. You're like Flynn, as they used to say.
Hal Robbins.
Hal Robbins. Hal Robbins. Is Hal Robbins in the house? Hal? Oh, there he is. You have a different hat. Don't you have a black hat?
Well, it may have started out that way. In keeping with the theme, this is a poem by Dylan Thomas called Lament. When I was a windy boy and a bit, and the black spit of the chapel fold sighed the old ramrod, dying of women, I tiptoed shy in the gooseberry wood. The rude owl cried like a telltale tit. I skipped in a blush as the big girls rolled 9-pin down on the donkey's common. And on seesaw Sunday nights I wooed whoever I would with my wicked eyes. The whole of the moon I would love and leave all the green-leaved little weddings' wives in the cold black bush and let them grieve. When I was a gusty man and a half, and the black beast of the Beatles' pews sighed the old ramrod, dying of bitches, not a boy and a bit by the wick-dipping moon, but drunk as a new-dropped calf, I whistled all night in the twisted flues. Midwives grew in the midnight ditches, and the sizzling beds of the town cried quick whenever I dove in a breast-high shoal, wherever I ramped in the clover quilts, whatsoever I did in the cold black night, I left my quivering prints. When I was a man you could call a man, and the black cross of the holy house sighed the old ramrod, dying of welcome, brandy and ripe in my bright base prime. No spring-tailed Tom in the red-hot town, with every simmering woman his mouse, but a hillocky bull in the swelter of summer, come in his great good time to the sweltering, biding herds. I said, oh, time enough when the blood creeps cold, and I lie down but to sleep in bed, for my sulking, skulking, cold black soul. When I was a half of the man I was, and serve me right, as the preachers warned, sighed the old Ramrod, dying of downfall. No flailing calf or cat in a flame, or hickory bull in milky grass, but a black sheep with a crumpled horn. At last, the soul from its foul mouse hole slung, pouting out when the limp time came, and I gave my soul a blind slashed eye, gristle and rind in Aurora's life, and I shoved it into the cold black sky to find a woman's soul for a wife. Now I am a man, no more, no more, and a black reward for a roaring life, sighed the old Ramrod, dying of strangers. Tidy and cursed in my dove-cooed room, I lie down thin and hear the good bells jaw, for oh, my soul found a Sunday wife in the cold black sky, and she bore angels. Harpies around me, out of her womb. Pressed the property saves me, piety sings, innocence sweetens my last black breath, modesty hides my thighs with her wings, and all the deadly virtues plague my death.
Thank you, Mr. Hal Robin. Oh, who has the attribution? There is the next one.
The next person is Lee Morris, who is new.
Lee Morris is her new time. This is their first time here. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, I don't hear that.
That was so wonderful.
Is that Lee?
It's Lee.
Thank you.
Lee's visiting from Denver, Colorado. And this is just a little ditty that I kind of thought of when I was working in an office. And I named it, It's Criminal.
Just get closer to the mic.
Okay.
There you go.
It's criminal to work in such a place. Yes, it's criminal, disgrace to the human race. So yes, it's criminal to work in such a place. Subject to deceit and lies, written on every face. Yes, it's criminal. Don't turn your head or drop your eyes. You must remain alert. 'Cause if you miss the slightest move, you're subject of the dirt. Oh, yes, it's criminal to work in such a place. Yes, it's criminal, disgrace to the human race. Oh, yes, it's criminal to work in such a place. Subject to deceit and lies, written on every face. Yes, it's criminal. It's 12 o'clock and time for lunch. It's Secretary's Day. I can't believe that someone asked why you eat your lunch that way. I said it's criminal to work in such a place. Oh yes, it's criminal. Disgrace to the human race. Oh yes, it's criminal to work in such a place. Subject to deceit and lies, written on every face. Yes, it's criminal.
Yeah! I like that! That's my voice! Was that yours? You made that up?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Tommy,
Tommy, how we go to make it? If you haven't heard him, you're about to.
Gee. Never would have thought of that.
I know, that's why I get the big bucks.
Yeah, exactly. The 8-year-old Guatemalan boy who lived in a wooden house with a dirt floor always wanted a bike. But when there was work, his papa only earned $6 a day, laboring hard in coffee fields.
One day, Papa bought him a new pair of shoes, gathered their clothes, a little money, and they left for the U.S. border. Their family didn't hear from them again until Christmas Day, when Papa called to say the boy was dead. He had taken sick, told his father in his hospital bed that he wouldn't make it. The second child to die in U.S. custody in a month. The head of Homeland Security was quick to blame the parents. The president spoke of criminals and terrorists and funding for a wall to keep out a little Guatemalan boy who only wanted a bike. So I grew up really poor in the 50s in South Philly, and one of the things that meant was that for health care, you had to go to public clinics. And this is my memory of those visits. You ask what I remember the most. I felt I had poor tattooed on my forehead in large red letters. I felt like I was wearing rags instead of hand-me-downs. I felt like I was trapped in the drab black and white world of the small screened TV in the living room. There were no smiles. Everyone seemed to look down on us. The other patients in the waiting room kept their eyes on the floor or in the worn pages of Look or Time on the small tables. When we went into the cubicle, a cold hand pressed against my forehead and the side of my neck. A wooden stick held down my tongue as I was forced to say, ah. A metal cup listened to the secret beats of my heart. My body felt like the dough Mama needed to make pasta. We left with some sample drugs and the last shreds of our dignity barely intact. And I'll end with a short poem. Which one do I want to do? I think I'll do this one. They put up a wall around the parking lot to keep out the homeless, to stop them from pitching tents, finding shelter, staying warm and dry. They put up a fence around the little park that they lock up whenever they want. They push the homeless from place to place, never into a home. Blame them for being where they're not wanted. Tell them it's for the good of those who are housed and don't want to see what makes them uncomfortable and afraid. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. This is a special event.
I've been asked back to Stageworks to do my piece, The Old Brown Jacket, which is about my coming out to my very conservative, traditional Italian papa back in 1971, when very few people did that. And also my years living in drag, which you may not realize I did. I lived for a long while in drag. Anyway, the piece is called The Old Brown Jacket. It's at Stageworks this Sunday.
This Sunday.
So I'll pass around some cards.
So take a card if you'd like.
Support me. Thanks.
Thank you. Give them a round. Yasmin, give her a nice round. As she comes up. And then we got David, and me, and Sharon Kish, for God's sakes. Sorry about that.
This may be very relevant to what's occurring right now, so I'll read this piece. It's from the novel, of course. For those who've never been here, it's writing a novel for years and years, so an extract. The professor turned away from the board on which he drew a diagram. Pareto's optimum, he announced, pointing to the figure. It occurs when welfare is maximized. It is total welfare which leads to optimum equilibrium. Notice what this suggests. It implies that wealth has to be evenly distributed for total welfare to occur. Omri saw Merrick smile. His lips curled, lizard tails flipping. He threw aside his pencil and sat up. Developed nations, the professor continued, must encourage underdeveloped. Merrick interrupted the professor. You mean developing nations? His voice was incisive. The professor corrected himself. How do we distribute the wealth to the developing countries? He interrupted again. And what is the assumption? Are we to assume that the industrialized nations want to distribute their wealth? His eyes were fiercely on the professor. Dr. Barringer held out the control of the class from the interruption with a calm which impressed Omri. There is nothing unique in your argument, he said, returning the gaze of his student. There are opponents to the Pareto optimum theory, some of them as reputable as Singer and Lewis. Your point is well taken. Let us study the fundamental theory first, and then examine it critically. Dr. Barringer continued to explain the concept in a manner which was inoffensive yet informative. He completed the analysis and returned to the original point. If we are to examine this theory in a realistic light, we must recognize the limitations on developing nations. There are causes, sociological causes, factors which impede the economic growth of nations. The Pareto optimum entails the understanding of these constraints and encourages help between nations. It is a spokesman for international trade, for better terms of trade, which don't exist right now. He paused and faced Merrick, indicating that he was ready for a debate. Merrick did debate. The constraint in developing countries, in some countries, does not come, as you suggest, sir, from sociological factors. They are constraints which are deliberately cultivated by territorialism. I am talking about politics, man. We all know about politics, about aggressive countries. His voice was an alarm clock. This so-called theory is idealistic to its root. It does not even recognize the fundamental principle of aggression. The class reacted violently to Merrick's accusation of exploitation. One of the students referred back to aid which the US gave to other nations. That's all the gratitude we have gotten, he said. Do you know how much money we have poured into Mexico, into Germany, into Japan? And I could go on and on. Every time there's a need, the US has contributed. You know that. Sure, Merrick was not intimidated. That's just it. How else do you tighten the grip? Indebtedness makes strange demands, my friends. Indebtedness is the bedfellow to political dictates. The developed nations aren't interested in sharing their wealth. To talk about this theory is to deny that there are rapists. Colonizers, Omri's voice was as soft and wasn't sure if the words had come out of her mouth. He said, he did. He looked at her, speaking. There was an awkward silence in the class. Only one man smiled, Dr. Hernger. He led the class from the emotional outburst to a logical conclusion. An interesting question he stopped and contemplated without pausing long enough for any further divergence from the subject. A strong argument that economic regress springs from political or historical castration of one nation by another. But a question for our purpose better left to the historians. Our challenge as economists is to examine the implications of this theory on the equilibrium as a whole, as opposed to the national equilibrium, which we have been studying so far in macroeconomics. He returned to the figure on the board and completed the argument for the theory until the end of the class. Merrick left the class before the other students had gathered up their papers. He did not stop to talk to her, to acknowledge her support for his ideas, and out of this came her brief, though intense desire to get to know him. Thank you.
As me from the novel. And now, isn't it David Erdreich? Ergonomics. Nom de plume. Chante
And
Alouette.
my mother called me bird-like.
Bird-like?
Bird-like.
Jesus.
My heart is burnt paper. I haven't got the fingerprints. I've sanded them to mist. Fahrenheit 451. Paper burns to ash. Sitting round the fire, book brown to a crisp. I take my time and find that I'm erased, extracted, missed. My embers now extinguished. My match both struck and cool. This firestorm becomes the norm. Dangerous, nasty tool. For this blazing hurricane can singe both high and low. If you are caught, this farm you bought, there is no place to go. PG&E complacent. No safety net cast. They simply ask for higher rates. Your death won't be their last. Corporate corpse just stays the course. Money first. They beat dead horse. They strike again and wonder why this body is covered with flies. Will PUC pursue this crime? A fire, not a flood next time. That was written by Arson Keels. Arson Keels.
Oh, I
You all
remember
remember
that.
Arson?
Oh, yeah.
4 stars. When numbers and letters align, Quran and Torah speed through time, living memory completely intact in multiple form, each line exact. Supersede mind, and I don't mind. For now each dot connects the line, I cross my T's, and I bless each sneeze. Earth leaves to you the breathe of trees. Alpha, Omega, null set or Z, irrational numbers break my bread. Proper C is prophecy. We all know after A comes
B. Sorry about that.
Mystic river, suspended ice, wedding, custom, throwing rice. Stomp the glass, lift the chair, erasing burdens everywhere. Beneath the canopy we find, love exists in eternal time. Mark the seconds, strike the hour. True abundance graces the bower. Entertain the fruitful plain. Pollute the water, that's insane. A word to the wise. What? Cast a spell, rest a spell, spell it out. Letters linked sequentially, meanings exponentially. Jump off the page in secret sauce. In plain sight hidden, may seem lost. In languages they multiply. Different tongues bring novelty. Barriers need not apply. Where novel concepts learn to fly, speak your piece, then listen close. Don't let your thoughts get adipose. Path is chosen with precision. Life depends on your decision. Deprecate, self-deprecate. Americans cannot relate. Unless a selfie is involved. Unless a problem is resolved. Open-ended universe, unanswered question, there's a curse. Adhere to balanced constitution, manifest just retribution. This president a total liar, we will hold his feet to the fire.
Roasting good.
The Daily Ho-Hum. Position not yet for transition, from poverty into remorse. Ruling emotions keep grueling. There's still time to find a new course. Automotive in check. Feelings still hit the deck. I'm surprised my resolve is so porous. Sure, I make the full stop, but I'm pushing the yellow. More space out in front. Pacing even and mellow. With the brink of the traffic before us, I'll go home and just practice for chorus. At 72, thank you. At 72, I've learned not to speak when others argue heatedly about inconsequential false accusations. And this morning's ho-hum, who, him? Doldrums. Seasonal affective disorder, horoscope affectations, merely 2 placebos for an active mind slightly detached from its source. Try life at the Arctic Circle. There's a little sun disruption for you. The fact of the matter is, life in LA is like eternal summer. Life in the San Francisco Bay Area is like eternal spring. Sure, it rains. Sometimes it rains a lot, and whole hillsides of mud descend, but it doesn't snow here. 5 hours away, snow's there, if you want it. Plenty of it. You can garden here year-round. Take off your blasé blazer. Don your rain gear, go out and absorb a drop or two. Look out! You just grew 2 new petals. If that still doesn't work for you, go hibernate for 3 months.
Dano mi boyo.
Dano mi boyo. That's mio. Mio mio.
Am I framed in that thing, Sharon?
Yeah.
Am I just okay? Okay, so I'm going to do a few short things here, but because I sang the wrong poem at the beginning. This is "Tell All the Truth, but Tell It Slant" by Emily Dickinson, sung to the tune of "Tell all the truth, but tell it slant. Success in circuit lies, too bright for our infirm delight. The truth superb surprise, as lightning to the children eased, with explanation kind. The truth must dazzle gradually, or every man be blind."
There you go, Emily Dickinson.
Okay, so I sometimes write haiku. I have written haiku. I'm going to do a couple haiku before I do these things here. Haiku are very short, 17 syllables. Don't count them, because this is a, okay. The forever wars. The forever wars. Need I say it again? Thank you. I'm going to move as many things whistling. All right. This is "Time Will Tell," to be followed by a different piece altogether again. I dreamed today. It seems it was just an eye's blink, but then again, everything therein was the world, all it holds, and its philosophies. And I looked to the sky, peering to see what's up in the air, wondering just what does it bear. This sad globe, its people and their history are waning fast. What's to do that's not destined to be buried by our earth at last? And what in the air? I look up wondering, what does it bear? Why keep on, looking toward horizons over which we will never fly? Our sad ghosts fade, no power on earth can extend their living lie. And what has the wind? Can you tell what's born on the air? We wear away, tasting not a single tear the earth sheds, it's true. And then we'll pass with the lesson of extinction as our lonely dew. Ask what has the wind, what takes away its breath and leaves no legacy. Can we stand upon silent beaches with no sound to see? And what does it bear? Surely something is born on the air. And this one follows the haiku and that on. This is called "Gone." Into this ancient city the sands have settled. Up high in the night sky the broken moon hangs as if waiting for a cloud. Under its cold light, drafts play in the dust between empty buildings which glare through darkened doorways or jagged, misshapen windows. There are still people here, hidden, a sparse few of the once millions. Who sees the shadow moving back and forth among the ruins, a solitary figure, indistinct, furtive, long after evening has turned into night? Lonely. Only the sky tells the hours now. At the calling of a lone bird, that shadow turns with its man. Cold branches are picked for their potential, though this place will not be home. It is finished with people. The vast array of buildings and streets is quieting, whispering its very last breath. It is a a city of sand, with a grief as vast as its silence. Someday, soon, no one will know of it. No one will do the telling or ask to hear its song, which is why the figure is as mute as its shadow and chooses to wander so long as a choice remains not choosing. Thus there is no home in this city, fast by the great peaceful sea. Only ill-scented draughts touch what now has become a stranger to hands, where the curling whistle of wind sometimes seems the only calling of what might be the name. Thank you.
Kind of on the theme. And now, in lightening the mood, we have Sharon Scott Kish coming up here, and then our teacher Sally LaSaunders will follow after by beautiful or interesting introductions. Give her a nice round as she comes up here. A wondrous individual, person of note and merit. Kindness and consideration don't get on her bad side.
Okay, this is a quote from Gordon Parks. I don't allow anyone to put a limit on my dreaming. I dream big, always. Yeah. And this is from Angela Davis. We must always attempt to lift as we climb.
Yep.
So, you ready for the kids from Kansas City?
Yeah, Kansas City, here we go.
Okay. This is called Up in Smoke. Cigarettes, crave, love, pacifiers. Everyone handled them differently. Some people puffed constantly, some let them just hang. Others puffed and flipped ashes after each puff. Each one lit, let them burn. Cooks let them lit, ashes dropped into food. Boy. Beauticians and barbers always had one burning in an ashtray. Next to the phone, an ashtray full of butts and stubs for the numbers games. People chatting and exhaling long breaths. Tall ashtrays, stands with amber or clear ashtrays. Each man had his own. Small ones for the women who fancied themselves petite and sweet, although they were large and oversized. Everyone had their ashtray. Don't dare touch it. Don't lose it. Don't wash it. It's their ashtray. Bathrooms even had ashtrays. Let's not forget the souvenirs of places visited or purchased for gifts, glass, tin, some even wood tree slices with glass inserts. Great advertisements, bars, restaurants, great deals, because everybody steals them from their offices. Offices filled with ashtrays, filled to the brim next to the stained coffee cups. Ashes all over the desk. Women of the night, no ashtrays, just flicking in the street. Teenage boys, cigarettes rolled up, packs of cigarettes rolled up in their sleeves. That's the 50s scene. Crusty old men rolling their own cigarettes, occasionally, and a grandmother rolling her own, spitting nicotine-stained figures. Bits of tobacco on lips, no filters. Tobacco ads everywhere, even in the skywriting. Movie stars pushing brands, fancy ads promising great taste. Cigarette holders, plain and some extremely fancy. Silver, gold, plastic, bakelite, extravagant. Some holders almost a foot long. Now that's style. People even burning their fingers to get the last puff. Old men gathering all butts to mix together to make only yet another new cigarette. Children sent to the store to buy cigarettes and keep the change to buy candy. Local grocers knew the brands. No one bought a carton of cigarettes, just single packs. It was on the counter. Even the children knew the jingles and some of the slogans for cigarettes. LSMFT, Lucky Strike beats fine tobacco. And the brand names. Each family had their own brand that they smoked. Children could buy candy cigarettes. And the pipe smokers and the cigarette smokers were not barred from restaurants. They had certain rooms they could go in the house. Some people even smoked at the table between courses. Gold and silver cigarette cases. Some had jewels for the evening. Men had silver and gold cases with monograms. That was always a great gift. These were the possession and the prized possessions of family members as these people passed on. These cases were always wanted when someone died. It was Papa's case. It was Grandpa's case. He smoked and smoked and smoked. You could describe a person and note that the cigarettes that they smoke. Oh, that's so-and-so, and he smokes Viceroy. Oh, you remember her. Yes, she smoked Lucky Strikes. Pall Mall. Everyone pronounced it Pall Mall. Carringtons, Winstons, Coles. Aunt Billy came to Kansas City for a visit from Milwaukee. She smoked Pall Mall. Wow. Eva couldn't let her borrow her clothes since when she wore them they smelled like cigarettes. Well, that was okay because she always bought a lot of clothes anyway. After one of her visits, she left a pack of Pall Malls. So, wouldn't that be a great idea to try some? One afternoon, doing homework, here's Janice and Sharon. They decided to try it. But first, they thought they'd roll up some paper and smoke it. Well, that shit didn't work. They almost burned their lips off. Next, find the pack. Sharon stored it away. Cigarettes, matches. Airwick, the original Airwick with the wick in it. Lighting up and choking. Uh-oh. Here comes Grandma upstairs. Quick. Sharon takes the wick out, starts to fling the juice around the room, hits Janice in the eye. Janice is crying. Eva walks in the room and says, "What's going on?" "Oh, we were just telling something funny." She said, "Your eyes?" She said, "Well, I don't know. It was just real funny. We started laughing." She says, "Oh," so she says, "Oh, there's the Airwick. I've always stayed using that." She said, "You know, Walker and those cigars. But you know what? He's okay. He's a good man."
Sharon Scott Kidd. All right, so I'm still framed correctly on that.
No.
I'm not?
No.
I'm not?
No.
Do I gotta go like this?
Sharon, tell me.
What? I can go like, I can go like that.
There you go.
Oh, good. I don't. Anyway, ooh, the red hat. Okay. So I like this particular point in a given evening. Tossing my glasses to the side nonchalantly. Because I get to introduce someone and dote upon them and compliment them in public, and all they can do is sit there and smile and take it. And I will not tell the story about the Muni bus and the old wino at 3 a.m. I will not tell that story. It's a great story. It's just like, I was there, and that's a story too, but no. Sally Love Saunders is a wonderful poet, and she's one of the few poets that I know of who has used her poetry to help people in their health needs in hospitals and therapy. She's an actual real poetry therapist person, and she uses her poetry to help people feel better and help in their healing process. And to me, that's always been like, I didn't know they did that. I didn't know hospitals say, "We'll pay you to write some poetry for our people." Really? So it's an interesting aspect of her character that she would take her art and use it in such a practical and wonderful way. On the poetry side of things, sometimes it seems a very simple, short poem, but it oftentimes is not. There's things in between the lines, and there's an attitude or a perspective. And it's wonderful. It's enjoyable. It's joyful. It's a happy kind of poetry, even though sometimes she does touch on things which, ouch, are not that. So, rather than me continue on as I can for hours on end, I will bring Sally Love Saunders up here and we'll frame this very nice thing. Is today the birthday? The 15th. The 15th. Yes, her birthday's the 15th, but she brought the chocolate cake for us here, so we're gonna have, after her feature, we gotta take a break for cake and then come back for the open mic, so stay and enjoy that. Give a big round of hands for Sally Love Saunders. She's coming up here, bravely facing so many people. I can't even believe it. This is right for you. I like that hat. Let me focus in here.
Okay, moving in. Well, it is really, really, really nice to be with you. Old friends, new friends. Thank you so much for helping me turn a year older again.
Again.
Again. At this time, I have a special joy to bring you poems that I just wrote. The Azores. The Azores are 9 islands off of the coast of Portugal. And I've always wanted...
There's something in the back. You got to get on the mic a little bit.
I've always wanted to go there. It's been a dream of mine all my life. So finally I found somebody that would go with me. So off we went. And I wrote 40 poems. And I'm very happy to read. This is the first time I've read them in public.
Oh.
So they're very fresh. And the first one I wrote, I was really jet lagged, super duper jet lagged. And I don't even know how I ever wrote a poem, but I think it's the best one of all. Carrot-colored tree. Am I loud enough?
Yeah, a little closer. Yeah, just a little closer.
A little closer?
There
Okay,
we go.
here it goes.
That's better.
Okay, carrot-colored tree with branches like young wild hairs sticking out. Freckled tree barks on red-headed trees. Trunks of trees all decorated like poorly wrapped packages. Trees decorated in jewelry moss and trees trying to be a birch tree. But popping out of their bark, fogs blurring colors, rain smudging colors, so you can't see back. Carrot-colored tree.
There we go. Thank you, Dad.
Sandy, you know what? Why not, if you please, could hold the applause till the end, and then do it?
Yeah, okay.
Please, thanks.
All right.
Sandy Beach am I. Sandy Beach am I. The fingers of the waves come in and massage my skin of sand, massaged over and over. Sandy Beach am I. Sandy Beach am I. The fingers of the waves come in and massage my skin of sand, massaged over and over. Tumbling over my words. Tumbling over my words, my pen is stumbling. Beautiful sights scream, write about us now. But my pen is tripping and my paper not behaving. I'll try again to spin the poem out correctly, like a spider weaves its web, and the sun dances on it. But for now, I'm my pen flowing out. Quiet, be calm into my being. Quiet, be calmed into my being. Doors open and quiet comes in, flooding my body, each cell full of quietude. Quiet, be calmed into my being. Quiet, be calmed into my being. Doors open and quiet comes in, flooding my body, each cell full of quietude. Ocean, tickling the docks. Ocean, tickling the docks. Beautiful heart music, surround sound heart music. Foghorns, the bass. If I sit still for a long time, other instruments play, along with singing gulls. Ocean, tickling the docks. Ocean, tickling the docks. Beautiful heart music, surround sound heart music, foghorns the bass. If I sit still for a long time, other instruments play, along with singing gulls. I sometimes think of myself as a fog poet. I just love fog. Yeah, fog and I have wonderful chemistry. Fog tumbles in. Fog tumbles in. Ocean becomes sky. Sky becomes ocean. I'm surrounded by big gray furry cheeks of ocean, sky, and me. Fog tumbles in. Fog tumbles in. Ocean becomes sky. Sky becomes ocean. I'm surrounded by big gray furry cheeks of ocean, sky, and me. We'd play tennis, you and I. We'd play tennis, you and I. You hit the ball, I wait, hit it back. There's a pause, then a ping, you hit it again. Back to me, back and forth. It's the pause while waiting that is the meat of the game. It is the syncopation that connects. We play tennis, you and I. We play tennis, you and I. You hit the ball, I wait and hit it back. There's a pause, then a ping, you hit it again. Back to me, back and forth. It is the pause while waiting that is the meat of the game. It is the syncopation that connects. Arms of the fog. Arms of the fog coming to me, opened wide. Arms to the fog coming to me, opening wide. Arms of the fog. Arms of the fog coming to me, opened wide. Arms to the fog coming to me, opening wide. Fog vacuum cleans the valley. The Azores are an amazing place. You get 4 seasons in one day, like it is here. It's very similar to here. You know, I kept saying, are we here or are we in Point Reyes or are we in the Bay Area? Are we in the Azores? They're so much alike. You know, one minute you have sun and then you have fog and then you have rain and then the next minute you might have fog again. And it's wonderful because you just have this feeling of all this oxygen flowing around. And you can always see water wherever you are because they're islands. So you're always surrounded with water. And then you eat the fish and you think, oh, this fish is swimming in water that's really pure because the Azores are out in the middle of nowhere. And so I felt wonderful there. Fog vacuum cleans the valley. Fog vacuum cleans the valley. Leaves its extra green. The earth refreshed, rain on roof, whispers tune of my favorite song. I don't remember all the words, but it doesn't matter. Fog vacuum cleans the valley. Fog vacuum cleans the valley. Leaves it extra green. The earth refreshed, rain on roof, whispers tune of my favorite song. I don't remember all the words, but it doesn't matter. Fog is smiling on the cove. The fog is smiling on the cove, eyelashes of fog coming down. Enveloped in blessed silence, rainbow trying to hatch out from behind the curtain of fog. The fog is smiling on the cove. The fog is smiling on the cove, eyelashes of fog coming down. Enveloped in blessed silence, rainbow trying to hatch out from behind the curtain of fog. The fog is coming in. The fog is coming in with outstretched arms to hug me and engulf me in comfort. The fog will tuck me in a soft down comforter bed and I'll sleep. Beautiful sleep. The wind. You're the wind, energizing, winding me up, up, up. cranking me to tiptoe. The ocean claws. The ocean claws its way to the shore with sharp-pointed claws, a lion creeping to shore on its belly in slicking movements. I'm here in perfect balance. There are no claws arched in me, just relaxed arms flat on the sand. The wind, the wind, the wind is tickling my brain, sometimes holding it, the wind changing my thoughts and feelings like I'm a ping pong ball. Ah, paper welcomes me. Ah, paper welcomes me, my friend who hugs, who connects with me. A moment in time we connect, the moment around the corner, connection or darkness. Ah, paper welcomes me, my friend who hugs, who connects with me. A moment in time we connect, the moment around the corner, connection or darkness. I wore a pouch around my neck the whole time because I was just writing all the time and I had to have paper handy. And it was just wonderful to have the paper there where I could collect my poems. New poem. Seaweed thoughts tumble around the ocean of my mind. Seaweed thoughts tumble around the ocean of my mind. Seaweed thoughts tumbling around the ocean of my mind. The loving wind. Ah, the loving wind is caressing me again. Loving, warm, loving wind hugs me, then leaves. I wait for more wind, more hugs. Wind will return. When the wind wants, I need to just wait. Silver white caps. Silver white caps served on silver serving trays by a man in blue butler uniform. I'm here to enjoy delicious servings of beauty, dessert, saturated feelings. Am I reading too fast?
No,
Because I'm excited. When I get excited, My soul exhausted. My soul exhausted from being stretched by powerful beauty. I'm tired and I need to coil in. Like a yo-yo is returning home to home base. The string of my being cannot be stretched out endlessly. Hope you can understand. I wonder if any of you have ever felt that way.
Oh yeah.
My heart is pulsing loud and large. My heart is pulsing loud and large. Pound and pound, the beauty of the ocean pumping oxygen into my swollen soul. A helium balloon I have become. Soon will float away, leaving a string behind. My thoughts crash against the rocks of reality. White foam bleeds over in a loving way. The distant horizon is healed. New row of memory crashes into the rocks which listen. Layers of colors of rocks, scars from past. A baby wrapped in warm blankets am I. The ocean lullaby and rocking me in its arms. I'll fall asleep on the beach as I write this poem. Dawn whispers to me. Dawn whispers to me, time to get up. Rooster yells, get up. A new day to fashion as want. To snip and hem as desired. No pre-pattern set on the table. I was so glad to be away from my appointment book and just to be there was very, very intoxicating. Polka dotted dress with pink like mashed potatoes stuck to branches. Dancer trees holding hands, making an arch for us to travel under. Trees and stones, same colors, making long entranceway. Whee! A whole sheet of white paper to engulf me and listen, gloriously listening to my words tumbling down like foam from a waterfall cliff. So many words creating foam and spray. The paper porous soul that absorbs. Fog smudges. Fog smudges black-covered forest of trees. My soul is high, like a flying high kite, leaving behind on earth my home, an appointment book. Laughing tree branches, having a jolly good time. Fog. Fog velvet cloth encases my soul, soft as a velvet, exciting my inner voice. Fog swaddling. Tumbling into the arms of green beauty. Tumbling into the arms of green beauty. Again leaves sparkle as though covered with silver. My pen are ready to receive more beauty. Trees trying to be colorful, the day all dressed up with velvety green grass. Would love to roll down hillsides, trees dancing wide, sun spotlight on trees, turned from silver to gold. Bare tree branches, opened wide, for the sun to bake on bare bark, leaves off. Toes of twigs wiggling, leaves of toes of twigs wiggling. Watching people. Watching people's like watching fish. Swim in an aquarium, colors interweaving, movements varied in puzzling ways. Watching people. Watching people is like watching fish swim in an aquarium, colors interweaving, movements varied in puzzling ways. I didn't return from the trip. I didn't return from the trip until last night. The wheels of the plane hit the runway and a voice said we had landed, but I did not land until last night. Now I'm home, enjoying settling in, feeling very safe, but I didn't land until last night. Did not have clock jet lag, but had emotional jet lag. My heart did not return until last night. I was still with you on our time, but now I'm home. Wow, thank you so much for letting me share these with you. Thank you. I want to invite you all to a festival on Sunday, and there'll be others, and it's at the Cultural Integration Fellowship.
Over there, or maybe on the table.
Oh,
there.
yeah. It's at the Cultural Integration Fellowship, and I have flyers here.
It's on Fulton between at 3rd, right?
Yeah, it's at 3rd and Fulton. It's in a great big Victorian house. And it's going to be an open mic, and then they're going to have delicious refreshments. And yeah.
Telling you. Yeah, very good.
And also, I have an email list. If anyone wants to be on my email list of events that I do, I would love to have your name here. How much more time do I have, Dan?
You got a couple minutes.
How many?
Like 2. That's a
Two?
couple. Yeah, well, finish what you need to do. Just, you know.
Oh, what?
I'll
I
put
never
this.
want to leave. I like it here.
Oh, I know.
Let me see here. But I hope that you'll come. Oh, it's at 11 o'clock on Sunday, and it's free. And what they do is you sign in when you get there, and they divide the time up according to how much time and how many people. So bring some poems, or you don't have to bring any poems, just bring yourself. Okay?
All right.
And I'd like to maybe end with my poem, Buckets.
All right.
Buckets. When I was 6, I had a tin bucket that was colorful and rusty. It held sand but not water. Yet Bucket and I went to the beach daily to enjoy the sun, water, and sand. Now I am old. I have a make-believe bucket, a bucket list of all I want to do before I die, before I kick the bucket. As when I was 6 and had a bucket. This bucket has holes, so sometimes what I put in it leaks out. I cannot control what stays and what leaks out because often sand leaks out with water. So there's never been a bucket in my life that holds all I want to hold. Thank you. Is that my
Give her a nice round, please. Sally Saunders. And she'll pass around the information. The sign-in sheet that she has is moving around the room. Thank you again.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, we're going to sing Happy Birthday. How silly of me. So on 1, 100, 99, 98. Sorry about that. 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday to you. What? I can't hear that. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sally. Happy birthday to you.
What happened to the cake?
It's back there. I didn't know he was gonna. He didn't plan that part.
I did, but anyway.
Oh, you did. Well, then.
Anyway, there's cake back there. There's cake.
Oh, we have a special thing for you. Go.
Right. The 15th is your birthday, and I wish you many, many more. I said the 15th is your birthday, the one you never had before. They'll buy you flowers by the hour, take you in their arms and they will shower you. I said the 15th is your birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Woo! I like this person. So probably he's going to be serving it back there.
Pardon?
Probably he's going to be serving it.
Oh, okay, so there's cake, everybody, in the back. So,
But just really quickly, I forgot 6 prizes that aren't books. Being the co-pilot is one of the things you can pick. If you sign here, at the end of the evening, I do a randomized selection of people who signed in. And being a co-pilot, as Sharon Scott Kish is one of them. Choosing the theme or prompt, as David did with My Heart is a Burnt Piece of Paper. The last word is Mr. Sanderell. He starts the second show and closes it. The mini feature, which is Buford tonight, who comes on and for an 8-minute stint in the middle of the second half. And the keynote, which Owen comes up, it kicks off the evening with a poem by someone else and then comes back for the open. So those are there. I forgot to mention those before. Forgive me for everything that I've done because, anyway, 5-7 minutes, we'll be back. We'll be yelling at each other and screaming and throwing things. Wait a minute, forget that. Excuse me.
When does the mini feature come in?
You're like the 1, 2, 3. You're the 5th person up after the break. So there we go. There we go. Now we're kicking. Hi.
Are you all looking for that?
No, just there are spaces. You try to go like around 4-ish minutes because that's everybody's been going short tonight. Cause
I got 2 short ones.
Yeah, there you go. Then is your first time?
No, I just got my hair because I shaved my beard.
Oh, I thought it was you. Did you send a poem in?
Yeah, I did.
What was the name?
I forget. It was like her portrait or something. I don't remember.
Okay, send me an email because there was a problem getting a hold of the emails that everybody sent to the email address. And I know you sent something in, and I have poems that don't have a name next to them, so it's probably yours. So Daniel, blah, 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 blah. These are the ones I sent. I'll go, those are the ones that we have, and everything's done.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm sorry about that. We know. We got you.
But am I signed up for?
Yeah, you're on here somewhere.
Yeah, I was thinking.
No, you're not on here.
Yeah,
You didn't sign
I
up.
needed to be. No, I didn't sign in. I came in late. I was supposed to be in North Beach by 8:30, but that's still not.
That's not happening. Later than 8:30. You want to be here anyway? Right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Okay, you're on. Bingo. And I'm going to turn this way so it looks at the Great Wall of Poetry.
Great house print.
And it goes like that. Right.
But I mean,
Pardon me. Now, you got one of them voices.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, can you, like, you get on a mic full on, people be going, I don't know who she is. She's gonna be famous.
she sings, she does nightclub stints in Denver. Yeah, and her part-time. Yeah, part-time. A brunch. She does brunch. A brunch.
So you are, you do this.
Yeah.
It's not just, I happen to do this here tonight.
No.
No, you should, you know, turn on.
She's too confident in Florida.
Like last summer,
Right?
she's don't let her think she can get away with it.
When are you leaving? Soon?
All of January.
Oh, good, so you'll be back Wednesday?
Well,
Please, come back. Pleasure to you.
Hi. Hi. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Teddy.
It's so confident you can remember so much more. I'm just cannot
oh, what, the cigarettes?
Ashtrays everywhere.
Everywhere.
Even in the clinic.
Yeah. You sit down, get ready, you know, for health, and you gotta fucking smoke.
Yeah.
Every night. I mean, and some people, you go to their homes, and in between dessert and everything, people sit there smoking.
There were ashtrays everywhere.
Everywhere. Cars always have ashes.
I wonder will any of us survive that.
The kids could go buy cigarettes.
Right, yeah.
They send you to the store, you go buy some cigarettes. And the grocer knew what it was, and nobody bought a carton of cigarettes. Bought individual packs of cigarettes.
Yeah, I was a kid, I didn't even know they sold them in
Exactly.
Yeah, it's all about that pack.
You walked up to the counter, and the grocer knew exactly what it was. Even if you were 5 years old. Even if you know, the grocer knew what brand.
Yeah. Say, I can't believe we grew up in that. All that smokery in there. I remember my next door neighbor, you would go to her place, she was a chain smoker.
Oh yeah.
The whole place was
always one lit.
smoke, and she was good one after another. She was just smoking away. And that woman lived into her late 80s.
Exactly.
Really weird.
And then I know people that have never smoked died from cancer. So now Tommy, when is your show? It's the when is your show? When is your round
Sunday.
It's coming Sunday?
Yeah. They called me about a week and a half ago and said, hey, you know, we want you to come back. I was thrilled. It's not often you get asked back.
Yeah.
So quickly. But I think they might want me to develop the work because, you know, it's going to be an hour long when I finish it. So I'm looking for a place to develop it. Have the space and everything to develop it into the hour.
You should see the one he did a couple of months ago. The woman, how was she, 100 years old?
Yeah.
She was 100 years old, she got addicted.
And she died.
And she died. When she got in the hospital, she died. And it was a great show. 2-act play, it was good. They got kicked out of the apartment. I took them in. She's like, hey, David, I know.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Many happy returns. You're welcome.
Bye, Tommy.
Enjoy.
Can you come Sunday?
Yeah.
She's right out there up Fulton. Right out there. Huh?
My email is. You know what my email is?
I saw it around here a second ago. I haven't seen it. It's out. It's being signed in. Someone has it. Stephanie has it.
Yeah, she's on Fifth and Fulton. She's like,
Maybe 5.
Napkin or, oh, yeah.
but she's right across the Golden Gate Park.
Oh, here.
Well, I tried to come to, but she didn't answer, so we're talking about getting together.
Okay, well,
I gave him my number, she not whatever.
will you call when you're locked out?
No, I called you before.
Tommy, we'll get together and go over there together.
Tommy and you can come together.
Yeah. Oftentimes I answer email before.
Do you drive, Tommy? How do you do? Okay, so take the ferry. Take the ferry to Larkspur and I can pick you up. 36129. I'm right in the edge of the San No, Marin. Yeah, down the street from George Lucas. His ranch. His ranch.
I'm not impressed over
You got unplugged.
No.
So did you have a good time off?
It's like the American, and she's saying, gesturing, she said, is that because we went around? No, it's not at all. But we decided to go on vacation and put this all off next year. Because every once in a while, they're just
It's not to have this system for you.
So I'm going to get things started here. Let me just see if I look good.
Yeah, I guess we can.
Ladies and gentlemen, and I'd like to add, and if that's not clear, I and you can quote me. See how I got quiet? I didn't even have to sing my song. Sing my song.
Fabulous shirt you got there.
Fabulous shirt. Oh, look at the back.
Turn around more. No, too fast.
Go slow. Okay, slow.
I found this on the top of a garbage can in an alleyway south of Market where I shouldn't have been. And I had an adventure after I picked up this shirt and ran away with it. I mean, it wasn't like it was stealing or anything, but it had the Martian on it. You know, I had Bugs Bunny and the Martian. That was one of my favorite cartoons. My favorite line from that cartoon is the Martian's holding what looks like, it says disintegrating gun, and he pulls Daffy Duck has the disintegrating, and he pulls the trigger, and the gun disintegrates. I love that. Oh, it disintegrated. Anyway, so we're back for a second half, second show, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see who's up.
Oh,
Lauren Bacall, Alistair Crowley,
Morgan Freeman,
They're in the lobby.
Charles Hawtrey on the Deaf Aid, James Blish. No one knows James Blish. And he knows James Blish. It's obviously Mr. Sanderell who's kicking off the second half.
Obviously.
And we are waiting. He's coming up here now. Give him a round of applause as he comes to kick off the second show. And try to keep it under 5 or 4 if you can. He's going to just knock us out. Enjoy the cake. And don't do this. I'm a professional. Thank you again, David, for everything you do.
Hey, Erdman!
Erdman!
He didn't bring his sax tonight, so I'm soloing unless
Unless you want to do it with this.
Well, if you think it's appropriate.
No. I can't.
David, you should carry a kazoo already.
I do. This is better than a kazoo.
Well, it could be. It doesn't want that.
It's a puny tune.
I'm stopping right now. Go ahead.
And I'm glad the young woman from Colorado is here tonight, and I'm glad you encouraged her to come share. No longer believe. No longer believe in words Houston citizens express. Say you worry about your children's future. Say you care about the environment. Don't believe you. You propagate glories of the clean electric cars that gets energy from coal, fossil fuels, uranium plants, left to pollute native or poor people's lands, as if that's where it stays. Say you don't support war. Say you don't believe in the violence as one hears you hit your lover, spouse, child. Say you believe in peace, love, and understanding as you limit free speech when not agreed with. Say you believe. Say what you mean, do what you mean. But you never knew how to talk the walk or walk the talk. You're citizens of the USA. No one believes you. Made of stars. Star power is something we all have. Made of stars, it's that star power that makes us shine, explode. Our beauty lies in our minds as well as our ugliness fears. A star is born, lives, sheds its light, gives life to who sees, nourishing some and no one. Stars, givers of life. Get too close and it will be the taker who burns, turns you to ashes. Lights of color spinning, blinking in your eye if turned to see. The blinking light keeps time to unheard music below, above our hearing. Sights, sounds of galaxies, universes, as it goes forever expanding the circle. As nothing lasts, even beats go out of time. Takes time to catch up, to be in time again. Chaos reigns in these places we call home. Wiping the tears. Wiping tears, letting them flow into waterways until all water is recycled through tears of the living. Wailings of joy, sadness, tied to corners, turning into boxes of the drowned. Yes, even in tears of joy, one can suffocate. Immerse yourselves in love. What better way to a go-go as you swim to the surface in joy, ecstasy, and breathing in climax. Those who think they can control you will not. You've tasted freedom to laugh, cry, scream, yell, love, loathe. Weeping, not fear, is cleansing of mind, heart, becomes stronger, beautiful in its lessons learned. Then join the struggle. If sincere in mind and heart, you will be welcomed. Learning lessons of the Lakota ceremonies, wiping away our tears. we remember nothing. Memories are, of course, things of the past. Things we discard as if there isn't something there that we should remember. In USA, we barely remember what we had for breakfast, let alone anything past. Be here now, you say, but never forget the past is what made us to us, whether we remember or not. When in USA, looking back in our family's exceptions, native people, we barely make it past 1 or 2 generations, then things get murky, if at all. So who are we really? We have the victor's history, not the people's history. Lost the art of oral history or conversation a long time ago. Texts seal languages, writings, histories, futures, fate, even while we're being here now. It happens now. Lakota people still suffer the wrath of USA for Wounded Knee and the Fort Laramie Treaties of 1868, amended 1872, but neither ever kept. They still have a life expectancy of 48, live in substandard housing where most Usans would freeze to death. Black mold runs rampant throughout this nation, poorest of the poor. This happens in many, many native nations, but Lakota gave USA its scar of defeat. As Russell Means asked, why is there a Bureau of Indian Affairs? No Caucasian, Black, Yellow, Jewish affairs. We treat native nations as wards of the state rather than the nations they are. USA imposes its laws against sovereign nations. Is this not the definition of treaty breaking? Racism? Lest we forget those nations who never signed a treaty or are still unrecognized as existing. Then again, we remember nothing. Is this how USA honors its treaties with nations? One must ask, where did USA's honor go? And when did it leave, if it was ever here? No, today, most meet a native people and they expect them to be speaking Spanish, are corrected that they are told, no, I speak Ute. Others surprised that they're still Indians. No memory is what brought us to this point. Don't listen to the poet or wise Homo sapiens if they can be found. If heard, what will you do, or will be the dawning come too late? Like a walk around a lake with rising water, where for a moment you can walk on water. Here's to the memories.
AJ? All right. And is this your first time?
It's my first time.
This is first time, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, let's hear it. Come on, let's go.
77, AJ. Let there be that. That's fantastic. Right? So, anyways, what I'm trying to say here is I didn't take number 1 till I even know it was open, even though I wore number 1 in the back of my uniform in high school as one dog. Anyways, I wanted to see a little bit of what's going on, a little bit, a lot of it, whatever the case may be. I didn't grow up in the Nile, so I'm not enough. I know where I stand. Usually, I just told my man Brady, I know where I stand usually, but sometimes I don't. So, I grew up in Mississippi, but I'm not Mississippi either, if you know what I mean. So, I might be in the Nile a little bit. I'm not sure. But anyway, so what I'm going to say here is real quick, like, as best as I can. An angel of light, how many times will it fly? For will us leave? And that just came from top of my, from the haiku man who chopped that up. As one breath shall say, let there be light, sound, system. Hopefully, let there be light again. And as I shall continue on, what I'm going to say is we're going to have poem, funny poem thing kind of going on. So, that was the poem. Now the funny is like, what's going on is my life. I'm going to try to stay with the curriculum here, keep it short in the scope, so I might look in the paper a little bit. Forgive me. However, it's my life, so I really don't look at the paper. I just moved here from LA about 6 months ago. Just got my 3rd copyright. Hey, it took about a year and a half to get that, but I got it. So hey, it wasn't easy, but hey, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about that tonight, though. I'm going to talk about what happened to me, what's going on. I don't know. You know, I just moved from LA about 6 months ago, like I just said, and I thought I was going to be ready for SF Pride. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I've come from LA, you know, I was in Long Beach for about 4 or 5 years, you know, Yeah, I've been coming out of street lifestyle, homeless lifestyle, kind of switching it up a little bit here. You know, I thought we were prepared for SF Pride, you know. I don't know, maybe I don't know what can, I don't know. But anyways, honestly here I have a lot of emotion in this because I have a lot of love for the opposite orientation, whatever that may be here. We'll figure that out. But however, as for mingling, I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about pride. And SF Pride, well, it might be throwing me for a surprise here in this progressive city as I've come to understand. But anyways, back to that. So as I shall look down. So, you know, today I'm just going to say, basically what's happening, I learned a lot about myself through mingling. Once again, back to the pride. Am I prepared for it? I don't know. What year are we in? Anyway, so, you know, like I said, I'm coming out of the street lifestyle about the last 7.5 years. I don't know, I'm coming to find out I'm a little twisted up socially, whatever that may be. I mean, I haven't been with a woman for about 5 years. I don't know really what's going on with that. It's probably about coming out of this resurfacing. I'm about sea level. Like I just got them at their cover. Sea level, just about there. So, trying to get above that. I don't know about dog pie or what, but I'm learning a lot, like I said, about myself. And you can take it however you want, or throw it, or whatever, or take it, grab it, slip it, slide it, whatever the case may be. Because what's going on here is I'm a little twisted up socially, what I'm coming to find out. However, you know, I got, how am I figuring this out? Well, I don't know, I got approached by a transgender earlier today, you know, I'm like, you know, it happens to me every now and then. I hang out with transgenders sometimes, and some of them I consider they're my friends. And, well, anyway, so, this time, you know, I'm getting, you know, I'm figuring out, maybe I'm getting propositioned here a little bit for something. I'm not sure what I'm getting propositioned for. I'm like, well, you know what? Nobody else is coming out to me. No women have been coming out to me. Women, he, she, we, this is we. So I'm like, well, you know, well, what's up? You know, so anyways, you know, I'm all around people. You know, so, what's up? You know, so, well, you can come up if you want. I'm just walking. We want to take a walk. I'm just hanging out over there. I'm just walking around doing my thing. That thing to do. And I'm like, well, I might die. I've been with over 5 years. Does that mean anything to anybody? Does anybody care? Anyways, I have it. Anyways. So I'm like, well, you know, well, okay. I mean, I guess you want to come to my place? I guess maybe I will. You know, that. You know, this is how I work from the DMV's been just pushing me out of the door. I've ordered 3 times. This is my 3rd time I ordered it. I haven't got it yet, but again, I haven't got a paper or copy with that word. No, well, so anyways, I'm kind of glad that I did now. I mean, well, I might just would kicked it anyways. I do that anyway. Okay, watch TV, maybe whatever, maybe not, maybe sit there and leave or whatever. You know what I mean? So, however, sometimes it gets twisted. I don't know how, but so. I just went home and I'm like, you know, maybe I'm not, the SF Pride thing, I think I'm pretty much on a level, you know, I think I'm just a little twisted up here, like, you know, everybody's, you know, that, you know, people got, the people, whatever, the people that are people, us, we, he, she, and we, thee, I, thy, so, I'm saying here, a pride flag, I was supposedly. And I'm a Libra, so I'm all about 7. I was born 77, which that was all about. 77. AJ. Anyways, 3, 2, peace. 1. Let there be light. So I'm like, white light, pride. I'm like, okay, I can fly the flag. I'm gonna fly my own. So anyway, I'm gonna keep this short. So I went inside and I came out. I walked down in a straitjacket. I'm like, I put my straitjacket on. I'm like, maybe this will work. Maybe this will get me out of this slump. So it didn't work at all. Actually, I started getting hit on by more crazier gay dudes. Like, but it was cool because like some of my friends, you know what I mean? But I'm like, okay, so anyways, with that being said, you know, this blonde, green dyed hair chick walks up to me, she's like Brazilian, and I'm like, well, this is it then. So I made it. The straitjacket is working. Unfortunately, she flashed some weird badge and a white van pulled up. And a bunch of guys jumped out and grabbed me. And I got in the van, so luckily I'm here tonight, but it was easy getting sprung from that loony bin. It's not the first time, probably the last time, but that's baby Eve. So, I'm never getting up on her Eve. I mean, she's out there. Anyways, the straitjacket didn't seem to work. And it's tough. I thought I was going through, like, I was getting old, midlife crisis. So possibly from the Ojo 72, if I make it to you, then holy be thy name. If not, I'll see you on the other side. I love you all. Thank you for allowing me to spit my piece.
Thank you.
Peace.
Owen, then David, Gregory, then Stupid Armini.
System. That's what that.
And that's the longest process.
Yeah.
I'm just like, as they say in France, get off the stage.
Here we go. Oh, and give him a round, please. He's coming back. He was the keynote, so Wallace comes back for the open.
Mars and Scorpio. Dark gray clouds, fair Paris dragged to the streets of Troy. The head of Agamemnon impaled on a pole. Brave Achilles sulks in his tent, sword and butler hanging from the shadows of a dark sun, as a beautiful Jewish woman saunters into the library as a death-like old crone. The proud give their prosthetic apparati to a Trojan horse, but succeed in getting shafted like a nude flagpole sitter. Radical politics and war are cut from the same steel cake and are making the same scene. Death and mass confusion follow Prometheus to his island of aloneness and aloofness, talking like Auden in his cell of himself. To a wooden diadem. A box within a box, a play within a play, your mind a set of wooden sticks that go by 2 by 2. Hip hop, I think, a thought, who is munching, lunching, and crunching. It was bad form to commit a solecism. This poem a mad solecism hiding in the dark mummy wheat. They cannot say it was bad form. Bad form searching for its karma.
All right.
To a land of Oz. Black sand evolving to an arrow blue sky, piercing Brobdignagians disguised as dwarfs signal each other to race like boy and girl towards the elegant, commanding, always consistent surf, corroding, whispering, and frolicking towards the fascination of our cathedral of plenitude. Black sense reaching, reacting with deep, longing fingers to forgive another sleight of hand love affair with nothing, not even the air we wave our arms about, in the jaunty ablutions of our devil-may-care catharsis of nothingness. Nothingness we forget to remember with all the love and joy we gracefully refuse to turn our backs on. Terpsichore, a living nature of well slipping and gambling towards a provocative Old Testament. As I forget the windy soul of the villanelle I forget, buzzing and banging in and out of loose shutters. Lord Winter. Winter, that drunk old lord, comes in November to fill its cup. Leaves fall before its sword. A bleak denouement, a fat old gourd. Pebbles' tender eyes look up to Winter, that drunk old lord. A salty-tailed plant brandishes its reward. Plants drink their false sup. Leaves fall before its sword. We are the unison of a quiet accord, a sorrow like a frozen syrup of winter, that drunk old lord. Like a scent of summer that roared its sunsense and devilish pup. Leaves fall before its sword. Evening passes us a fretful chord, as hearts stand up, then the season up, to winter, that drunk old lord. Leaves fall before its sword.
Thank you, Mr. Owen.
Thank you very much.
Owen Dunkel, our keynote of the evening. And our mini feature for the evening, Mr. Buford Bunton is coming up. And then we have George Lister. George? Oh, okay. He's coming. He's now, and then you're the next person. Just didn't know who you were. You're George, though.
No.
Oh. Oh, we have Owen, David, Gregory, then. Oh, David Gregory, then Buford. Sorry, my bad.
First.
So we did Owen. So it's David Gregory next. There we go.
Did you call me, George?
Yeah, you're after Buford. So okay. George, then Buford, then you. I'm sorry. You're here. All right. Give him a round of applause. We haven't seen this one in a while. Sorry about the error with the calling of names. I goofed up.
The road we take, we walk in darkness, hoping someday to see the light. We walk in somber times, by faith and not by sight. We will not see our goal or complete our very task. We will not know whether our work will perish or last. We must somehow go on, despite our inner doubt. Change for the better one day will surely come about. It matters not whether we see that very day, for others will accomplish our work in a far better way. I dream of when it will be spring, when ne'er a dark cloud in the sky, when one is full of joy and sing of buds and bees and all things nigh. I dream of quiet and stillness, and a sunrise to a new day, the wide expansive openness of a golden dawn at play. I dream of a world as peaceful as the gentle setting of the sun. It reminds me to be thoughtful, for it all surely can be done. Felicitations. May you be ever in the light, that it will guide you where you go, making the dark passages bright as you travel this world to and fro. May your pen glide across the page as your creative thoughts flow forth. Like water down the screen you age, in greater wisdom and kind thought. Thank you, friends.
And now we're ready to Buford, be followed by George, then Greg, then Garrett, then Jacob, and then Tara, just so we know where the heck we are. You know, my brain is. All right. Our mini of the evening give Buford a nice recognition award.
All right.
Pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
There we go.
Okay. This is about one of my students. I work with special ed kids, high school kids who are anything but like high school kids. This is called head rubbing, nose tweaking. My student asked me to tweak his nose, his autism profound. I gently pushed his proboscis, which is ample, with the palm of my hand. The previous teacher encouraged this action on my part. Mr. Buford, you keep him going by doing that, she said. He also likes me to rub and scratch where his hair covers his head on the edge. It all seems strange to some people, yet not to me. I'm glad to help. Nose, nose, he says. One of the few words he can say. His nose, of course, is rubbed with the back of my head, as I said on the front page. It's an interesting job. This is about somebody I work with. My best friend at work, actually. She says, it's called workmate. She says she hopes we don't get too many more SI kids. She's a 74-year-old woman who works hard with the students
as do I, a recent 69-year-old. Maybe this is just wishful thinking and perhaps just fatigue, or perhaps. We work hard in whatever job we do with the severely impaired kids. It's usually demanding. It's worth it, of course. We do humane treatment, great work whenever we can manage that. Changing diapers on teenage kids, being patient with their communication skills or lack thereof. Life is hard for these students. Only the highest functioning students may be capable of working, and they're going to need lots of backup. My workmate and I persist. Here we go, a little more here. Let's do some more. All right. Get over here. Oh, yeah. There we go. Got a couple more pages to peruse. This is called Big Boy and Little Cyst. Little Cyst, that's terrible. Little Sis. I don't even want to say anything else. Yeah, cook while you're at it. I was a big boy. At 13 years old, 5'8" and 155 pounds, holding my baby sister Cheryl. I looked down at her with admiration, beaming, flat top haircut, covering my big head, or at least my handsome crown. Semi-handsome is more like it. I wanted to be very careful, I'm sure, not to drop her from my lap. I'm having a hard time reading here. There we go. A tragedy that I did not want to face, of course. She's 55 years old, so she can stand up pretty well now. A little too well in some cases. For my taste, I shouldn't say that, but it's true. You know, my heart gets hurt by her, you know. She was my mother and father's sixth child. The oldest, Carol, then 21 years old and just married to her first husband, Al McNutt, honestly, that's the man's name, who was then a banker who she had met at the University of Alabama, who turned into a dropout, as many people were doing in those days. In order to and then he came back out here and was selling the Berkeley barb after having been a banker. This was like, you know, mid-60s. But then I was in the 7th grade, and Carol was about to come home to Mobile to finish up her bachelor's degree at a really good college, Spring Hill College, the Catholic College in Mobile. My life was pretty simple. I was on my way to straight A's in the 7th grade, followed only by a B or 2 in the 8th and 9th grades. I received an A+ in civics in the 8th grade. I was not a complete nerd, though. I played football in the 9th grade, made about a 3.6 or 3.7 average out of 4. I was voted the most studious in these little awards at Mays Junior High School. When I was worried I couldn't be able to ever play football again after I broke my wrist, I didn't play again except
in flag football in college when I was in a fraternity. The coach in junior high school said that, who had played at the University of Alabama, said, I didn't have to rely on football since I had enough to get into college, obviously, because of my high grades. I was recovering from the broken wrist, as I said, at the time. I could still throw a baseball, and that's what I wanted to do. The guy who broke my wrist was a guy named George Smith. I put my, when you're pushing somebody out of your way when you're trying to play football, and they're, trying to block you, I got my hand underneath his shoulder pad and it just bent this wrist back. But, I recovered, and I think it actually helped my curveball in baseball. All this made me concentrate on baseball, and traditionally improved my curveball, just like I said. From then on, I was a baseball player exclusively. I swole my right knee, though, when I was playing intramural. I was a mess. I had an injury in every sport that I tried. We had this basketball team, in the intramurals, and there was a guy who was about as tall as the ceiling, and there wasn't any height regulation at all. So I was the center on this team with a bunch of really short guys, and I went up with the ball, and the guy, ran into me, and my feet did not touch the floor. My knee hit the hardwood, and it's hurt ever since. It's been a mess ever since. So my conclusion for this, it was better, and I went, I played like intramural softball too, and so it was better for me to just stick with softball. My baby sister came by my baseball card business when I was about 45 years old, and in Mobile, to chew me out because I didn't go to my mother's funeral. My ex-wife and I took my mom McDonald's breakfast in bed, which she loved, for months. And then when she died, just before she died, I had a big fight with my father. I was working with him, and I just walked out of the business because he had a fishing tackle business, and his perfect little son just couldn't get along with him. Anyway, and my baby sister, she came by the baseball card business in Mobile to chew me out, like I said. Right after Mom's funeral, all I had done was like feed her McDonald's breakfast for 3 or 4 times a week for 8 to 10 months. Anyway, there's my strange autobiography. Have a good one.
We've been our mini teacher for the evening. One of the fabulous door prizes designed by Wallace to say, your mind, your mind. Now, George Lister. Then we got, is that right, George Lister?
Yeah. Then we got Greg.
Hey, Dan?
Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah.
This is the first time he's been here.
Oh, this is the first time, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks. I'm new. These are new. I never wrote a poem.
You never wrote a poem?
Until...
Did they write back?
April 27th.
Oh.
So these are new.
All right. And you're going. All right.
A rainbow day. So beautiful, stretching from horizon to horizon over a bumpy sea. All the colors I would expect, red to violet, resting easily and smiling. And black. That can't be. I blink and look again, but it's gone. I know I saw it, so I close my eyes, spin 3 times, open slowly. No black. and no violet. Something ate one of the colors of the rainbow. I count them off again: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, no violet. I turn my head a bit so I'm not looking directly at it, and the black reappears. Now I know what to do. I close my eyes and spin 3 times the other way, open slowly. No black. No indigo. Somehow I'm able to call up the dark forces of the world. When they arrive, they eat rainbow light piece by piece. I must stop doing this. If I keep going, there will be no more reds, oranges, yellows, greens, blues. The world will be dull gray, and the black will have no more light to eat. So it will come after me. The evil sneaks in when we're not looking, when we are walking down the street, head held high, singing a tune, happy and bringing kindness. Careful, love, it's a dark place, and we're all in this together.
All right.
This is called Take Down Jimmy Greger. Like a bull he was, seemed bigger and stronger than all of us put together. Later, he'd tell us laughing stories about beating Saturday night drunks in the brig at the Navy Yard. We can take you, Jimmy Greger, as we lined up to pull him down. Big man, big heart. I'll get rid of you one by one and not even have to hurt you. On top, underneath, to each side, grabbing, pulling, screaming, laughing, sweat flying everywhere. Young men on a quest, bring down the biggest and strongest. Time to prove yourself. Time to grab your manhood, make it grow. On it goes, grunts, growls, mixed with laughter. One by one we drop out, and Jimmy Greger still stands. He pounds his massive chest and bellows to the sky. Then he falls next to us on the grass. A man with a heart and soul, bigger and tougher than his body. The Watchers. Sorry, the voice said, we have to let you go. It's been a great run. You've done some good things, written some nice books, some pretty music. You've painted some lovely pictures, built some nice buildings, taken from the rich, given to the poor. But you've lost your way. You've forgotten the words given long ago and replaced them with greed and envy. You look at each other with an evil eye and daily practice the sins of darkness. Did you think you were alone, that what you did here on your lonely planet would not be recognized, would not touch other worlds, other universes? We have to say goodbye to you now. We hope you can make it on your own. You're becoming a disease in your own body. We tried to warn you, even let you see other places that fell to the same plagues. But before you infect others, we have to leave you to work it out for yourselves. Remember this, we are kind and forgiving. Clean up your mess, embrace your children, and let us know if you wish to come home. Last one, Poemland. Will I ever write another poem? They play like children, cats and dogs, out there past the fields of darkness. They are creatures that have been brought to life somewhere, sometime. Not by me, of course, only to be visited from time to time. I search inside for the key to open, to see, to hold, to share their world of beauty and endless spring. Fields of clover, daffodils and tulips, of sweet streams beneath an azure sky, open to the sun and moon at the same time. There are no ills in this land, only the pure and innocent, the deserving. I cannot call up my invitation. I can only accept when it's offered. Someday this land will return, my vision will clear, I will breathe clean air, touch the flowers, laugh with the children. When that happens, I can write about anything. The darkness has no place in this world, only as a distant memory.
Thank you. Here's something for you for the Bay Area research. Did I give you this already? No. Oh, good. Great. There you go. That's just me. Give him another round, a new guy. May he come back and prosper. Gregory, Mr. Pond. Give him a round as he comes up here. The Honorable Mr. Pond. And we got Garrett Karen and the Sanderell closing out this fine second show. And we got Duderman over there. Don't think we got you on there. But you put your name down at the bottom, so it's like, sorry about that. I'm an old man.
That's okay.
That's okay, as long as you're.
You're not gonna read? Yes, I'm reading. Oh.
Yeah, she's on there.
Oh, good.
I didn't say her name.
No.
Oh, Jesus Christ of the hamburger.
Well, you got
With the onions. Okay, I'm gonna start the clock now. So stop me when I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
That was the fastest one yet. My mom was actually almost that fast. Okay, you don't have, just go.
I'm sorry?
Sorry. Yeah, there we go.
This is called Gray Day. And we've been having some gray days.
Jeez.
A city sky of charcoal gray plays hide and seek with buildings and trees just to keep the sunshine away. Waits behind silent curtains but leaves its dirty fingerprints smudging corners of certain clouds. Then sends a chill that whistles cold. Suddenly night has descended all around, draping a tarpaulin over my shoulders, wrapping up the day with a splash of wet as I walk unprotected from the elements. Now it's really coming down. A steady rain starts to seep until I'm waterlogged, soaked to the bone, thick in the mud and rolling in the deep. On this water day, I puddle alone, feeling out of touch, out of reach, against the wind yet overexposed. I'm not trying to swim the English Channel, I'm just trying to keep my head afloat. As I navigate my life's next step, I find I'm trying to remember more than I'm hoping to forget. Doing my best not to lose myself in this storm now turned to tempest that rattles the windows of my soul, makes me feel like I'm drowning in a sea of liquid anonymity when I'm simply trying to make it home.
Yeah.
And one more on New Year's Day 2019, it was the 10th anniversary of the death of Oscar Grant on a BART station, Fruitvale. This is called Face Down for Oscar Grant. They said he got shot face down in the back, just like that, by some cop who mistakenly thought he had his taser cocked instead of his gun. Witnesses shocked, open-mouthed and stunned, shared cell phone video with the news and police, but couldn't believe what they'd just seen that night in plain sight when the calendar gained a year while a young man lost his life. They said a cop got off, an unarmed man became a martyr, just a slap on the wrist for involuntary manslaughter. Anger spilled from court steps to streets, demonstrations, riots, appeals for peace. Some say it was a fair trial, some say justice was served. But most of us will always say a cop got away with murder.
Great con. Garrett Murphy. The mighty Garrett Murphy. Give him a round. We got to adjust everything for him. Yeah.
Okay, Johnny got his. Little Johnny Kelly came onto the scene with military credentials, gold star status, and impeccable, incorruptible character. Just what they said was what the chump needed. And a dealt in the room. Inevitable was a changed chump. But lo and behold, we get chump change instead. Or did the chump simply pull off a mask and unleash Johnny the Kid? A congresswoman denigrated, families deliberately torn apart for being non-Anglo, the self-appointed Oreo spokeswoman gets given the boot. No longer was Johnny an adult in the room, and now that Johnny's been brought down to the chump's level, guess what, JK? You've now got the boot. Yep, Johnny boy, you sure done caught yours. Scooting along. Anywhere and everywhere you see them around. Some are erect, many on their sides, some appear to be turned off, others look live as hot coals. You see them on the streets, mounted or otherwise, and they ask for only $1 to start. $1, a two, or is it buckaroo? If you don't watch out, you could fall over one. If they don't watch out, they may find some in the lake. Their abundance makes less sense than the policies that lead to mass homelessness, whose presence is at least understandable, but the scooters and their riders, one might wish would just plain scoot.
Scoot. Mighty Garrett Murphy, always. Jacob San Diego. Jacob San Diego. Jacob. Sorry, wait a minute. Stop that.
Oh, this is like high a little bit.
Oh yeah, we can adjust that. We can.
I think we'll be fine.
We want you to be comfortable and respected and held worthy in the sights of men and gods.
Well, thank you, poets. I've been digging what you've been putting down, and I'm just glad to be here.
Good to have you.
All right. So one time I was in detention for writing against the school paper, and there's this poem that stuck with me, and it goes like this. Did you hear about the rose that grew from the crack in the concrete? Proving nature's law wrong, it learned to walk without having feet. But funny it seems, by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from concrete when no one else ever cared.
Yeah.
And that was by Tupac Amaru Shakur.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like why I write a lot about that. Anyway, so this poem is untitled. My head is loose. Out spilled the dark. Can someone pass the light? I just need a spark. No. Electricity ain't cheap in the city. Can't pay bills, no food in belly. Well, get in line, San Francisco. Shows no pity. Look outside at all the decayed dreamers. No more veins in their necks. No more veins in them. Okay, my bad. It's hard to read this. No more veins in them. Necks stuck with needles like voodoo dolls. Convulsing corpses stained with blood. Don't ask me for shit. I must go to Muni, you damn junkie. She is more than her addiction. There's a reason they call it angel dust. Remnants of God weep on the street. Their cardboard signs, scriptures. Anything helps. Just trying to feel full. And then this is another one. This is for my grandpa. All that's left of you are rusted stowaway beer cans, a golden rosary, and your wedding ring that is missing a diamond. The milk carton man. Have you seen Henry? Father, husband, brother. Drifted through the decades, partially there, always missing. You are like that diamond. Rosary around the neck as you carried contraband casually, changing climates. A whole other part of you in Miami that I will never meet. All because of the bottle. Your offspring may say, he's not my dad. He never earned that title. But they search for the left time. They search for lost time the same way that you did, the tip of the bottle. Windows down, feet on the throttle, ghost of Freddie Mercury playing in the passenger side speaker. Lights blind your dying eyesight. Watch out for the pothole. You loved me. You called me your baby, even when you said it in a slur. Even when you said it slurred, I still smiled. You were present for my growth and left me what little you had, so I could be what you never could. Golden ring and golden chain protect my neck. You are more than just regret. The love you did possess will always shine through me. That was that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob. Karen Milanda Bergood, our feature of next week, by the way, just so you know. And then we got Duderman, then Sanderell, and that closes us out for another fine evening of stellar entertainment brought to you by you.
Brought to you by you. I like that. First of all, for Sally, I wrote a song for my parents when they had their 50th anniversary, and then I sang it for myself when I had my 50th birthday. So I think for you it's the 39th, right? Yeah. So it's 39 years is a long, long time, filled with sunshine and rain. 39 years is a long, long time, but I know you'd do it again. Okay, so that was for you. With my others, I had little verses for but I'm not going to get into all these verses about your life because I don't really know your life. But anyway, I wish you the best. Thank you so much for entertaining us, for your beautiful, beautiful poetry about the Azores. Just marvelous. Thank you for the cake. And we appreciate your coming back every year and giving us cake. And wonderful inspiration. Your poetry is just beautiful. So thank you. All right, now. Yes, I get to be a feature next week, so I've been busy thinking that I need to accomplish something for this, so I've been making all these little books, and I think I have 5, maybe 6 now, but the 3 I brought with me are Sky, and you're going to tell me which you want me to read from. I got to get my glasses.
Sky.
Okay, there's Sky, Injustice, and Hidden Women.
Hidden women.
Hidden rhythm.
Oh, I thought you said women.
No, I did. I said hidden women.
David.
He said hidden rhythm.
David.
Okay. All right.
You got me.
I just opened this up. So this is Goodbye Netta. Now you don't want to hear Goodbye Netta.
Oh, come on.
All right. Okay.
Tease.
I didn't. Yeah. Well, Goodbye Netta. Do you remember the supposedly faux election of Ahmadinejad when the students were revolting and this young girl had no idea what was going on.
Oh, yes.
She just happened to be there, and she was remembered almost as an icon of the whole moment because she died with her eyes wide open. Yeah. So I will do this. This happens to be a song, but I wasn't going to sing today. Anyway, I don't have to sing. It's, anyway, the refrain you could sing with me. It's, Netta, Netta, goodbye now, sad you cannot stay. May your eyes find freedom, fly, fly, fly away. May your eyes see freedom, fly, fly, fly away. Netta Adan Sultan, with open eyes you die, with open eyes of disbelief betrayed, yet asking why. What purpose in a young girl's death, what purpose in a bullet? A father's anguish cannot still the blood and hold her soul. A father's anguish cannot still the blood and hold her soul. With open eyes she rises high above the chanting crowd, beyond the pain, beyond the groans, her soul will sing its song. When will we all see justice? When will we ride these wings and find our way to freedom? Nedden Solta sings. With open eyes she sings. Netta, Netta, goodbye now, sad you cannot stay. May your eyes find freedom, fly, fly, fly away. May your eyes see freedom, fly, fly, fly away.
Nice. I remember that.
Yeah, I may have done that before.
I remember her too. I mean, it was like a...
Yeah, you remember that, that instance.
There's one photo that...
That is, it was an amazing moment, and it was interesting that she, who had absolutely nothing with the revolution, she had nothing to do with anything.
Wrong place
was
at the
a
wrong time.
But you know, in a way, the metaphor is perfect, because who are the victims of our wars? Who are the victims of our stupidness? It's children, it's the innocent, it's the people who really didn't want to do anything except just live. All right, so I could do another Hidden Ribbon, or I could do Sky, or Injustice. Sky? You said Sky.
Sky.
Okay, Sky. All right, there's all sorts of Sky. There's some short skies and long skies, and they kind of put them all together differently anyway. All right, here is Waiting for the Storm. The storm is hiding under, or perhaps behind the sunset, the glorious sunset, waving goodbye to bright, luminescent sunshine. drawing shadows closed. The night is silent, waiting for the storm. All right, and this is Sunset Promises. We're in the same kind of time of day. The sunset promised much, yet slid behind your veil, gazing out in purple shadows, lit gently in golds and crimson, shyly observing the world before disappearing into the gathering night. Okay, I heard the song. Okay.
Thank you. Beautiful. Our feature next week, so it's going to be good.
First they say would come would be the Kodiak Riders. They came from inner space to these here times. They said the dog tribe shall arise. But then came the white buffalo and she changed along the way. Joseph Pratt on the trail of tears they came. And they moved them to where they call it the four quarters. The Anastasi awake in these here times. Hey, now they can swim up the great oceans to come to the wash basin. The waters were so polluted, they did not come that time. Now they said, we come to wash ourselves before we go out again. The Kodiak Riders cut across the plains of time. They said,
Mr. Sander, I'll close us out here. Kind out loud, then we take care of these fancy prizes. And if you win the secret prize, you have to let me know. Say the magic word and get $50.
Monkey magic clanger, Froggy.
Oh, Andy Devine.
Almost.
What the hell was that supposed to mean? I never understood that. If anybody knows what he was saying,
It means he
didn't
got tired
sound
of
good
Wild
to
Bill
me.
Hickok.
Sounded kind of.
I got tired of Wild Bill Hickok.
Fuck that magic twanger.
You got tired of
What
his
the hell
horse,
was
that's
that
the
supposed
problem.
to mean?
Him and Dale Evans, Jesus.
Andy Devine.
He had the magic twanger.
Yeah.
Did he? Yeah, that's it.
Froggy the gremlin did.
Yeah, Froggy.
There is a rose in Spanish Harlem.
To my younger brother. It's the Homo sapien that's the killer. It's now believed Neanderthals were killed off by, you guessed it, the crazy one, out of control Homo sapiens. Some gained knowledge, wisdom, but some of the younger never listened. They in turn began killing other Homo sapiens. Though it's also believed Neanderthals were failing, it's said that a brief period of 20,000 years of contact occurred. According to the timeline, it is the Neanderthal who was the artist of the cave paintings. No Homo sapiens around. With some sexual mixing, it may be the Neanderthal who gave us our softer, artistic side. But with our diseases and our penchant for killing competition, the other, we believe we came out on top. Left no one else standing, so we believe. Needs to be said that these two-leggeds need to be watched. Can I get a hey, hey, hey?
Hey.
Can I get a stand up? Hallelujah for the killer Homo sapiens.
Hallelujah, brother.
Hallelujah.
My iron spear is working
That's
again.
right.
Got any roast beef sandwiches?
I'm trying to think of the poem. This ain't no Leonard
I
Cohen
got an
song.
opposable thumb, damn it.
This ain't no Leonard Cohen song, I'm sorry to say. All right. Say, by the way, I want to know, how's controlling mother working for you? The mother, the thing that we seem to care less about, you know, the thing that helps support life, to survive, die, pass, whatever your belief, take is on it. How's this controlling thing working for you? We're not here saving Mother Earth. She protected us from certain things so that we could have a touch of life. She plays her part. Mother kept her refuse from us unless it bubbled to the surface. But we dug it up, made us sick, and sick we've been ever since. Even learn how to kill each other for it, like all good empires who came before brought us to now. We never kept in touch with elders who could tell you they'd never seen so much cancer, so many different diseases before. Not that there weren't plenty of those there that took some off the spinning top. When younger brother came back after sent away by the elder brother, thinking that the younger brother they never thought that the younger brother would come back. No maturity, growth, just achieved arrogance. Their way, no way. Land divided so fauna could no longer travel, flora once useful to life, once played its part on this land, gone. There is a price to pay. Someone, somewhere, again, told someone, convinces them that it's safe, riches to be made. Kill us for the money, but what a life we'll have before we help kill each other. It's a wonderful life. Just ask how we steal everything from everybody who we steal from. We are an empire after all, the Usan Empire. Ask Dick. You know Dick.
Oh, yeah.
The one with the biggest vices, greed, power, with an artificial heart.
4 of them.
We're an empire way before Dick realized it. Ooh, it's about manifest destiny, baby.
Oh, baby.
This trying to control the mother thing isn't working out so well. It's greed that brought us here. It's never having enough, because you can always go further into debt while the rest of the world goes a go-go, with or without, within or without, like prayers, sacred mantras that have lost their points while the people die, starve, alone. Rise for the land of the manifest destiny as the empire eats its own. Dog chases tail, chases tail, chases tail. Dog chases tail. Eat, empire, eat. Devour is your name.
Yeah.
Did I do this one just now? Oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's
Shut
it.
up. See you guys later.
All right, Richard Sandero. There we go. Now, as to these prizes, when you signed in, notice that you put your name next to a number. You notice these fancy cards that I've been shuffling like mad up here with numbers on them.
Prizes, prizes.
Prizes. And Sharon Scott Kish, the co-host of this evening, is going to cut them or do something so that way you
Come
don't
to
think
the
that
top,
my-
girl. Come to the top.
Jesus. Let me introduce the prizes one more time. Yes? Yes, I do have the attribution sheet. I thought you signed it.
Oh, I did, but my United States did not get it.
Yes, there we go. All right.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, and see you next week.
Yeah.
Mysteries of Mankind. Why Trump is president.
6 o'clock.
Poetry for July, August 2017. This was before the big change. I like saying that. People go, what does it mean? Art of Awe, AWE. Lots of poetry. That's all about the dancing poetry event that happens every year. And there's poetry in it and prose. Collins Italian, English, Italian Standard Dictionary, as opposed to the perverted dictionary. The best poems of 1942. I can't really guarantee that. But if you were born in 42, you might be, or you know someone who's born. 2019 Audubon calendar. I kept calendars for every time I donate something, I get something, and we have many calendars. Wreck This Journal. It is a journal, and it's meant to be wrecked. Inside that is Make America Green Again, just in case you want to do that. It's a double there. And this one also has the Borough Express in it, just so you know. Then there's the co-pilot, like this individual here. Choosing the Theme, which was my hardest burnt paper. Mini feature, which what was that? It was Buford. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then the keynote, which was Owen, and then the last word, which was Mr. Sandrell. So those are in case you don't like what you get. Okay, so okay, she shuffled them. Who is number 30? Oh, it's Duderman. Is he here?
Duderman.
You
Winner,
won.
winner,
You're a
winner.
prize winner. You may already be a wiener.
We select a prize.
Collect your prize. Whichever one of these fine things strikes your fancy.
Mystery stuff.
Mysteries of Mankind, eh?
Oh, yeah, there you go, Dumas.
Yeah. Tell me why Trump is president when you finish that.
Still reminding him why he walked like that because his dad put his foot in his rear end.
Hey, don't insult asses. 18. 18. Who is 18?
George Lister.
George. Any one of these fine prizes, as I'd like to say, are yours. If you want to do any one of these things or take any one of those.
Wow.
If you've never been to the event, it's a wonderful event, and I think they're taking submissions for poems. What they do is the winning poems, they have dancers actually dance the poems while someone's reading it, so it's a cool thing. All right. Thank you, and come again.
Well, thank you.
All right. Who is 16? I am 16, going on 17.
David Gregory.
David, David Gregory is not here at the moment. How about 11?
Me.
Oh, it's you. It's you, is it? Took you a long enough time.
I mean,
I like this
What a
time.
star. What a star. Signing up for